Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
All right, today is the last bonus show without producer Lewis. The last 24 hours have been completely crazy. A bunch of people have emailed me saying, can you explain what's been going on behind the scenes once there were links made that you had interviewed the guy, Glenn Miller, who is Fraser Glenn Cross in Kansas, who has been arrested for shooting these kids. Basically, long story short, I told a little bit of this on the show. Last night, I wasn't paying attention to the news. On my phone, I received notice that there had been a shooting involving a couple of different Jewish institutions in Kansas. I said, oh, okay. I emailed myself the article so I would kind of review it for later. I got home. I was watching the Red Sox game last night around 10 or 10:15, okay? And I just look at my Twitter feed and I see that there's a flood of messages saying the guy they arrested is the guy you interviewed. And I don't even know what this is in reference to. So I start looking around, and there's a link to the Southern Poverty Law Center, which says very clearly, Fraser Glenn Cross, also known as Glenn Miller, anti-Semite, neo-Nazi, KKK member, political candidate, has been arrested. And at this point, I said, this is absurd. I can't believe the guy I spoke to has been arrested here. My phone starts going off. Producer Lewis is texting me. I'm getting emails. I start to put together a little press release just saying, this is the interview we did. Here are some emails, which of course now most of our audience knows about. We've released them, an exchange we had back in November of 2013. And it's just one thing happening after another. We put the press release out and all of a sudden CNN is contacting me. Alan Colmes wrote to me. We have people on all sides of the political spectrum talking about what's going on, getting emails from people saying that this had nothing to do with his political views on Jewish control, which was insane that we got that. And I just kept, usually by Sunday night, I would be in bed by like 11:30. I just kept going and doing different stuff until close to 1 o'clock. Get to bed, 7:10 in the morning. I think I had planned to get up at 8 o'clock or something today and come right into the studio. Just after 7 in the morning, I get a call from CNN that they want to have me on. I have no idea how they even got my number, which is always kind of interesting how news outlets are able to get your number. Later on, I find out that they actually did go through someone I know at CNN, the Boston Herald. All sorts of different news outlets are asking for clips of the interview. And from 7:10 in the morning until now, which is after noon, it's about 12:30 when we're producing the show. Things have been completely hectic. We're going to get the rest of the show done. Then I'm going over to Alan Colmes' studio, or it may be a phone interview. I think as of right now, and I hesitate to even say it because it may not happen, I'm supposed to be on Aaron Burnett's Out Front on CNN tonight. As we know, we have our share of criticisms on that program, but of course it would be crazy for me to turn down an opportunity to expand the name of the David Pakman Show. So I'm told I'm going to be doing about 5 minutes on Aaron Burnett's show around 7:45, and then we'll see what else. The Boston Herald called me literally while the program was being produced. I'm going to get back to them. So it gets very crazy, and it's amazing because it's been a little while since we had like a truly viral video. The recent Ray Comfort interview kind of went viral, about 120,000 views, but it didn't generate very much media interest. This Glenn Miller thing, which is from 2010, of course, you have no idea who is eventually going to be accused of committing multiple murder based on his anti-Semitic beliefs. It just completely blew up. And we had been thinking, Lewis and I, with some of the publicity people that we work with, what could we do to really get a big media push? We got kind of lucky last week or the week before with the Fox News appearance that I did. And then this just drops out of the sky. And every time it's based around something negative, like a tragedy where 3 people died, I always have mixed feelings because, of course, I think that voices like ours should be more represented in corporate media. At the same time, I don't really like having it depend on something that is so negative. Some people, when I talk to them about this, they say, well, David, the thing is, it doesn't really, the tragedy would have happened no matter what. And the opportunity for your voice to be heard as opposed to just the normal corporate media voices is a positive thing. And I understand that, but still, the idea that it's so often bad news, right? Most of the time when things go viral, it's someone who is incredibly out of their mind, right, that we interview. Or it's because of something bad that happened. And there's always that kind of mixed feeling because the calls start rolling in and all of that is exciting. But at the same time, this is a guy, Glenn Miller, who is accused of having been involved in the murder of a Jewish radio host in 1984. And he clearly has committed more murders. So it is personally scary, the idea that you talk to these people and in general, you never hear from them again and that's it. And sometimes they end up committing incredible acts of violence. And I obviously, both my parents called me today and they obviously have been following the story and they're concerned. And it is a concern. I mean, it would be ridiculous for me to say it doesn't cross my mind that this was a guy who said he hated me when I interviewed him in 2010. And he just went out and killed people. Now, fortunately, it seems if he is the actual perpetrator here, and if justice carries its course, he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. But there are many others, right? We know that this right-wing, anti-Jewish extremist movement exists in the U.S., and it is not a group that has zero resources. There are people on all sides of the kind of socioeconomic spectrum who hold these views. So yes, to answer people's questions, it's obviously been on my mind. I'll keep you posted about on Twitter and Facebook the rest of the day about what happens with the CNN and Alan Colmes appearances. If they all happen and aren't canceled, which always can happen, I will play some clips tomorrow, hopefully. And Lewis will be back tomorrow. I have another dream analysis I want to do. Last time I did one, a few people said, oh, clearly the dream means David is gay. So we'll see if this is the same thing. I have another dream. And also, I had a measles scare a few days ago, and I'll talk about that. I will reveal whether I am up to date on my MMR vaccine. I had a conversation with my doctor about that, and just a lot going on this week. It's going to be great to have Lewis back, and that's it. That's it for today. It's been a very crazy day, and it would be great if it was just a little more even, right? Instead of these crazy days where things are out of control and then just kind of normal, slow, we do our show and then that's it. It'd be great to have a little more balance, but as we know with news, that's just not the way it is, and that's okay. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.